libertarian.
No, he's a libertarian.
Yeah, he's a libertarian.
A well-known one.
A very well-known one, yeah. So, if this goes, I wonder what the positioning is going to be. I wonder who's going to come out defending them. How much money did they have in the account? I don't know why I saw they went from 50 million to 100 million to 200 million.
Oh, my God.
What is the, how much total money have they raised? What's the total amount of, what? I don't know why I saw 720 million. Maybe that was have they total raised? They've raised a lot of money. Oh, there you go. Okay, total assets in 2024. Wow. Look at that. 786.7, and some reports noting it's 822. When I saw 720 million, I said they cannot be that powerful. Their endowment was 822.
Shocking.
Look at the kind of power you have with that, what you could do.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. I got to say also on the 990s, I was the king of the 990s at the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. The 990s will tell you everything you need to know about an organization that you're targeting. Because to keep themselves out of trouble, they admit to everything, thinking nobody's ever going to look at the 990.
So you guys looked at the 990s.
Most organizations actually have it on their webpage. It's oftentimes hidden. There was only one time that I wanted to see a 990 that wasn't publicly available, and I just called the organization and I said, I'm the chief investigator from the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and I need to see your 990. And they were like, please don't. And I said, no, I'm going to swing by. I'll give you a day. I'm going to swing by and pick it up. And their 990 must have been 150 pages long. I had never seen one more than a page or two. It was 150 pages long. I found nothing wrong with it, and I just dropped the investigation.
So the 990 is what? It's a document that most tax-exempt organizations file every year.
Yep.
With the IRS. It tells the government and the public how the nonprofit operates financially.
Yep. It's got everything. It's like the crown jewel of the the tax forms.
So okay. Rob, can you pull up who else gave SPLC money? Who are the biggest contributors of SPLC? I'm actually curious. I've seen some of the names.
Tim Cook, $1 million. George Soros. Wow, George.
So it took $106 million in donations just in 2024. 786 it funneled through it. I'm wondering, yeah, I got the Soros, I got the Clooney, I got the Tim Cook. Charles Schwab Charitable Foundation, Fidelity Charitable gave a lot of money. National Philanthropic. Yeah, I'm reading a book right now on charities because, when you gets to a point where family offices need to start charities and all this other stuff. The book I'm reading today, it tells a story of never, ever start a charity and leave the board to decide what to do with the money, because whatever cause you start today, you're going to lose control with the way it is, and 10 years later, they can change the cause they want to support. So maybe your cause was one thing, 10, 20, 30 years later, it could change to something else. So, by the way, let me ask you, if you still were at the CIA today, and you got the call from the director of CIA, and they said, John, I want you to go find out, because there's so much noise right now in the marketplace, I want you to go find out who is actually taking money from Israel, who's taking money from Qatar, who's taking money from these different organizations, whether they are trying to get people to give pro-Zionist messaging or trying to give pro-Islam, Sharia's not that bad, everything's okay, or socialism. How quickly would you be able to find that if someone's getting funded or not?
I get that it's a hypothetical question. It's an FBI issue. The CIA, by law, would be forbidden from doing that on Americans. But you could certainly look at foreign nationals. The CIA could look at foreign nationals. You probably need a couple of months to really dig it up, but you could dig it up.
Would you be able to find out for a fact, like if
not all of it?
So the reason why I'm asking is because I had Dominic Tarczynski here. He's a EU member of the parliament, and he tells the story of in 2022, these multiple EU Parliament members were caught getting,
yes.
What do you call it?
Big satchels
duffel
of
bag.
Yes,
duffel bags
that's true.
Of cash,
one of
$1.5 million.
One of them was Greek, and she's in prison now. Yes.
Yeah, $1.5 million of cash. Can you go to that one, Rob, where it's, which one is this one? Is this the one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so $1.5 million. But go to, if you can go to the picture, yeah, that's the lady right there, whatever her name is. She was part of the corruption. And apparently there was so much money in one of the duffel bags that they dropped $60,000, 60,000 euros that they caught afterwards, where cash was being given. And then when you go even deeper, you find that the history of, nowadays, King Charles is very pro-Islamist, it's nothing wrong with that, everything is fine. And then there were reports about him taking $3.2 million. I don't know if you've seen that report.
Like he needs the money.
Like he needs the money, but he took $3.2 million.
I hate to say it, Pat.
Right there. Look at this. From between 2011 and 2015, then Prince Charles received approximately $3.2 million in cash payments from Qatari Prime Minister. This has been confirmed, and he said he did. But he said the moment money went into our account, we just gave it to charity immediately. There was no illegal things done. We're supposed to believe that. So I wondered, buying influence. If the government all of a sudden, I don't even know if they would pursue this because they may not even want that. Man, if somebody was to come out, like let's just say they did this with SPLC.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they come out and say, let me tell you guys that these top 50 influencers, who's funding them, who they're getting money from, it would silence the entire market, and the fog of war in mainstream media and podcasts and today would be gone. Everybody would say, okay, we know why you say what you say. We know where your position is. Great. Can we all move on? Let's move forward.
See, and this is exactly why we need robust oversight. Rather than the cheerleaders on Capitol Hill that we have, we need people who are really going to provide independent oversight. Let me tell you a story, and forgive me that I have to sort of fudge the language a little bit, but I had a conversation with a senator a couple of days ago. He had somebody reach out, can you come up to the office? I said, of course. I go up there, and he's concerned about some documents. He needed to see some documents that were classified in the 1970s. Mm-hmm. I said, well, they should have been subject to mandatory declassification. We have a mandatory declassification law in this country. After 30 or 35 years, they have to be declassified unless they contain the names of a source or the methods of an ongoing operation. And he said, exactly. And they've never been declassified. And he said, I went to the CIA and they said, we don't know what you're talking about. They're not our documents. And it turns out that they're Senate documents. Well, the Senate is not, the Congress is not subject to the Freedom of Information Act. And it's not subject, they always exempt themselves from their own laws, right? So no laws apply on Capitol Hill. They do anything they want. And so I said, well, why don't you go to leadership? And he said, I went to leadership.